To pay back $20 million campaign debt, Kamala Harris agrees to fight Jake Paul. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Akorn, and today is Sunday, which means it's time for the next episode of Laugh While the World Burns, where I show some of the idiocracy that is modern-day society. Please consider hitting that like button and share this video with your family, friends, and social media. We got some good memes and some idiocracy news today, so let's get into it. Gen Z believes wokeism is only for ugly people. Are they right? Well, they're not wrong. I have seen some other articles and things lately that seems to be indicating that Gen Z is basically getting fed up with all the woke stuff being shoved down their throats. We can only hope that this means that the tide is beginning to turn. We'll get into some more of this later in the video. Patrick Mahomes fined for violent gesture, as fans accuse NFL of being woke and pathetic. Kansas City Chiefs star quarterback Patrick Mahomes was fined over $14,000 by the NFL for allegedly making a violent gesture in Buffalo, New York, during a 31-20 loss to the Buffalo Bills on November 17th. Mahomes celebrated a touchdown pass by making a finger guns gesture, likely trying to communicate that he is a gunslinger, a popular label for a quarterback who passes a lot. The moment was even featured in a CBS Sports highlight package before going to a commercial break. It was with that attached highlight that NFL Network reporter Tom Pelissero noted Mahomes had been issued a fine by the league for making the apparently obscene gesture. He should have known that the NFL only has lead dispenser-free zones. I guess he'll make sure that he keeps them in the holster next time. Might put somebody's eye out. Tesla bot action figure sells out. Is now listed for up to $1,300 on resale sites. The $40 Tesla bot action figure, which has over 40 individual parts and 20 points of articulation, comes with a charging stand and a cyber hammer accessory. So does this mean all the Autobot action figures from the 80s is going to be worth a lot more too? Inflation's not that high. Inflation. Trumpetol MAGA strength stops Trump derangement syndrome. TDS reliever, anger reducer, dissolves nausea. Red pill caplets. Made in USA. If you hate pipelines, do your part and turn off the gas to your home. Don't be a hypocrite. Yeah, 100%. If you're gonna sit back and complain about fossil fuels, then you need to stop being a hypocrite and turn off your electricity, your gas, and stop filling up your vehicle with fuel. Calls for redesign of royal honor over offensive image. Petition says image of St. Michael standing on Satan is reminiscent of George Floyd unaliving. Yeah, that's right. Centuries-old artwork is offensive because it looks like George Floyd. Mommy, where does politicians come from? Well, sweetie, when a clown and a serial killer love each other very, very much. That's a good summary. Waiting for your dad to hand over your weekly allowance. This is what happens when you order a president through mail. My accountant and lawyer informing me I'm going to jail for claiming Zelensky as a dependent on my taxes. Well, that sounds like a good place to start. I did not sell uranium to Russia. who, by the way, did not pay me $500,000 for a 1-hour speech. Society if that shoe hit George Bush. U.S. cities are using this crazy device that blocks drivers' vision until they pay their fines. Yeah, I guess the other option is just to have the windshield replaced. But better yet, just get on YouTube and find out how to remove that thing. I'm sure somebody's got a video on it by now. Bill Maher just likened his fellow Democrats to retarded children born of incest. When Bill Maher is making fun of the left, you know it's pretty bad. Hollywood elite escape options. Countries that allow extradition to the U.S. in green. Countries without extradition agreement in red. And most of the high-ups have their places over in China. Many of them guarded by the Chinese military. The more you see, the worse it gets.
What is the date? What is the date today? I completely, Thursday, I was completely wrong, wasn't I? I had the dates wrong all this time. Did he come on out?
AOC. If only we had taxed the rich, maybe none of this would have happened. Your Met Gala ticket was $34,000. Their slogan, "Tax the Rich," sounds good. But the problem is who do they classify as being rich? Because we know the billionaires isn't gonna pay. So who it usually ends up being is people like small business owners who has a lot of money tied up in their company. Or even large family farms, even though the farmers have all their money tied up in the land, the equipment, crops, animals, and everything else. And most of them are right on the edge of bankruptcy. I can't afford a vacation, so I'm just gonna drink until I don't know where I am. Well, that's one way. My gender studies degree cost $200,000, and you said you would cancel the debt. No refunds, Jack. The only time anyone should watch the news is to study how psychological manipulation works on the general public. Fact check true. All of your mainstream media, whether it's on TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, and just about everything else, is all just a big government psychological operation against the public. And it has been since the time that newspapers was people's main source of information. Elon Musk asks people to upload their medical data to X so his AI company could learn to interpret MRIs and CT scans. Yeah, just put all of your medical information out there for his AI or for anyone else to find it and use. My retirement plan. 1. Move to Mexico. 2. Give up U.S. citizenship. 3. Come back illegally. 4. Set for life. Well, that's a more reliable retirement plan than most anything else these days. I'm afraid a lot of these 401ks and IRAs and everything else that people have are, unfortunately, at some point in time, going to end up becoming worthless, along with the rest of the U.S. economy. As we mentioned before, it seems like some of the woke stuff is finally beginning to turn. But then, you see video clips like this. Developing nations blast $300 billion COP29 climate deal as insufficient. It was never meant to be sufficient. It's going to be used to cause blackouts, shortages, economic collapse, inflation, and many other problems. All being done under the claim that they're saving the earth from climate change. Uganda discovers gold deposits worth 12 trillion US dollars. USA. Unfortunately, this is basically what's happened in a whole bunch of nations. Among other reasons. What is the strangest thing you've done for cash? I took out a loan to go to school so I could get a job to pay off my school loan. Good luck on that one.
I said the F word.
I said the C word.
I said there are only 2 genders. You won a free trip to California. 24-year-old man paralyzed after sitting on toilet and scrolling on phone for 30 minutes. I've heard of people's legs going numb and things, but how in the world do you become completely paralyzed from that? Tesla CEO Elon Musk warns U.S. bankruptcy is coming super fast without a Dogecoin-inspired fix. One thing I can guarantee you, a digital currency is not going to fix anything. It's only going to bring in a whole lot more controls. I don't care who's behind it. People finding out their forgiven loans count as taxable income. A lot of people don't realize this. This is also true for YouTube. Whenever channels receive products from companies, either for review or for sponsoring the channel, that channel has to claim all of those free products as taxable income for their original retail value. So basically, when you see channels doing reviews, you want to assume that because they got it free, that they're probably just going to give it a good review. However, they're still going to basically end up paying about 30% of that product's retail value. And that goes for products that's good and bad. Don't drink and drive, because there's people out there who text and drive, and they'll hit you and it'll be your fault. Well, they passed it here in Missouri, where you can't even have your phone in your hand. If you're going to use your phone for anything, it has to be hands-free. It is good in some ways, because there are far too many people texting or even watching a movie when they're supposed to be driving down a highway. DEI rollback reaches Walmart as backlash mounts. Walmart is scaling back some of its diversity initiatives, becoming one of the most prominent companies yet to make such an about-face as activist pressure mounts. The world's largest retail chain told Yahoo Finance that it would cease using the acronym DEI, no longer participate in a corporate equality rating system called the Human Rights Campaign, and end its $100 million Center for Racial Equity that was scheduled to be sunsetted in 2025. So it seems that all of this stuff is finally going over its peak, and is now heading in a downward trend. We can only hope that its decline rapidly continues. At no point in history have the people forcing others into compliance been the good guys. Me getting ready for the 2024 season finale. By the time you guys see this video, it'll be December the 1st, which begins the final countdown of 2024. What do you guys think we'll see in this 2024 season finale? How statisticians imagine criminals reacting to lead dispenser laws. Yep, exactly. Remember, you can't use reason and logic with people that don't know the difference between a boy and a girl. Fact check true. And this is also true whenever you're trying to discuss any kind of topic with someone who just throws out the facts because they don't like them. You're not going to convince someone of anything when they couldn't care less what the facts are. All you're going to do is waste your own time and effort. I found that out the hard way. Never forget the stupidity. Yeah, you always need to remember this, because these are the kind of people that you're walking by in the stores and driving next to on the highway. Things have changed some since that Fukushima nuke thing. Yeah, this is one of those new cross-species things there. Now, actually, there is some pretty bad stuff happening. Of course, you're not going to hear much about it. Most of it is just the amount of radioactive material that's just being dumped into the ocean, and has been ever since the meltdowns happened. Which, those cores that melted down are like the Energizer Bunny. They just keep going. Sorry for the mean, awful, accurate things I said. No, I'm not sorry. The world is about to understand the meaning of weak men create hard times. Costco, $1.63. Five Guys, $7.49. Just remember though, you gotta have a $65 Costco membership to buy their hot dog. And I don't know who in the world is paying $7.50 for a hot dog from any restaurant. But if you do, well, I guess it's your prerogative. "2020, the year of science. Never forget. These men committed war crimes. This man exposed war crimes. Guess which one is in jail? Illegal substance cartels secretly making illegal substances. The Netflix documentary crew. Well, at least they're starting to put the propaganda in the right place, on an entertainment site. Usually they put it on a mainstream news website. When I see how much taxes came off my paycheck, I am a victim of a hate crime. It's worse than that. Coca-Cola sells over 200,000 single-use bottles a minute. But this is the problem. Transitioned at 4 years old with absolutely no influence from the parents. I can say a lot of things here, but it's just sickening what's been done to the younger generations. Court order. You can't base college admissions on race anymore. Leftist. It's almost laughable how these same people say that we're all racist when it's them who want to prioritize everything by skin color. The IRS has issued guidelines for the taxation of dog treats. I was gonna say that my dogs wouldn't like that. But, well, maybe I'll touch on that at the end. History teachers in 30 years describing the 2020s. This literally is the same people that's pushing for one is also saying the other. I borrowed money, and they expect me to pay it back. In 1986, a man named Christopher Thomas Knight ran out of gas in rural Maine, retreated into the woods, and lived there for 27 years without any human contact. That doesn't sound too bad, especially with how things are these days. I guess he was determined to stay in the 80s. Dr. Lewis saved my life. 4 stars. I honestly don't know how to earn that 5th star. That is pretty bad. You save somebody's life and you still can't get a 5-star review. And there I was, repeating everything that the news tells me. The Great Debate. Even this is more interesting than any of the political debates. I do have to say, if you go and find the original patent, that they have it shown as over being the correct position. Your service is so poor, the VA is jealous. Sometimes you have to create your own happiness. That's one way, I guess. How it feels when Akorn puts one of the memes you sent in one of his videos. I enjoy seeing all the content that you guys submit to the channel. A lot of the stuff that you guys send me is memes and other things that I haven't even seen before. If a meme or other content doesn't fit in one video series, it'll usually fit in another. As you guys probably know, my main 2 series here on the channel is the Gen X and Millennial meme series, and this, the Laugh While the World Burns IDIOCRACY series. However, I've also had other videos on the channel, including the You Laugh, You Win series, which I actually haven't made a video for in a while, and I may make some new episodes for that series here in the near future. With that said, if you have memes, links, news articles, photos, or anything else that you'd like to submit to the channel, you can send those to akornzstash@gmail.com. You can also find this link down below in the video description. And I'd just like to send a special thank you for all of my viewers who submit content to the channel. And here's another one that goes with the memes from earlier. Have you accepted the state as your Lord and Savior? A lot of people are. And unfortunately, very soon, a lot more will. The cat food industrial complex after inventing feminism. What is the harshest truth you've ever learned? The world will not treat you any better just because you're a good person. That is true. I feel bad for parents nowadays. You have to be able to explain the birds and the bees and the bees, the birds and the birds that used to be bees, the bees that used to be birds, the birds that look like bees, plus bees that look like birds but still got a stinger. No, real parents teach your kids the truth. and keep them out of all this garbage. Guy who started 2 wars calls for civility. And yes, this is the Babylon Bee, but it's basically true. It's certainly true that people can only pretend to be as good of a stock trader as Pelosi is. The U.S. economy. People working 4 jobs. Buy now, pay later debt. Bank bailouts. That's right. It's about time one of the players finally called them out on it. Gotta tell my kids this saved my life. There is a reason why traditional education teaches you nothing about financial education, because the system is designed to keep you in the same place. This is very true. I just watched a video the other day where the presenter was making this exact same point. These new $1 bills are pretty awesome. That is the truth of it. Many people still think that the spikes on tires are to prevent slipping. It's sad to say, but there are people that honestly believe this. Without government, who would tell you to give cyclists space while blocking the bike lane? Government at work. When you read a headline and look for the Babylon Bee logo, but it's from a real news source. That's happening more and more all the time. You're such a dumb animal. You pay 30% of your income to stay out of prison. That's true, but that's just the first 30% that we pay. Get up. Equal rights granted. You're being drafted. Welcome to real life, where nobody cares if you're offended. Dad, is Santa Claus a hoax? Of course not, son. Think how many people would have to be in on it. It's a good example. Me watching society collapse. It's weird, because the situation really isn't funny. No, it's not funny. But the only thing we can do is to laugh at the completely idiotic, absurd stupidity of it all. And share the memes with everyone we can. Every blonde man in Argentina when his kids come of age. Son, we need to talk. I'd say a lot of you on the channel knows what this is about. And I'll end the video with this. To all who serve, thanks for walking the walk. I know the government has used the military in many ways and in many places where it should have never been involved. With that said, to all the soldiers who did the best they could to do what was right, we thank you for your service. Please consider hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, smash subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss all the new shows. If you enjoyed this video, you can click on one of the thumbnails above to see more. I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe. This is Akorn. Over and out.